Welcome everyone to Unlocking Freedom in Nature. And we're excited here. And I'm excited, of course, to have my partner here, Lori, live. And we are welcoming Morris. And Morris you're from, or is it Sweden? Where are you from?
Switzerland.
Switzerland. Awesome.
Yeah.
One of those places I plan on visiting one day. So,
Yeah.
So Morris, welcome. We met through a common group we belong to. It's a podcasting group where we kind of ask each other, hey, do you want to be in my podcast and things like that. He already interviewed me and it was so fun. We had a great conversation there and I'm like, hey, why don't you come to ours? And when I explained what ours is about, he's like, I just do so, what is it? Run or jog in nature. And I'm like, hey, we want you. You have a story to tell us. So we're excited you're here. You said yes to this opportunity, a little bit different than all the rest of the podcast, but that's what we want to be, right? Different from the rest.
exactly. We like being different. It's being unique, right? So it's fun, and I'm gonna take this opportunity to invite everybody, remind you to sign up for the North Idaho Adventure Retreat that we are having here in July, and we also have one scheduled for August. We do have payment plans, just to let you aware of that. We're excited to offer that. Of course, it's going to be here at my place, which is beautiful this time of year, which is probably similar weather as to Switzerland.
And what we wanted to emphasize, Tammy, also is that you say that your place over there is a destination, like people go there.
Oh, and yes. This time of year, if you look up Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, or Sandpoint, Idaho, you are going to realize we are a destination resort. Movie stars and actresses have their second homes. We have a lot of people come here because we have lakes everywhere, trails, there's lifts, gondolas, there's the Silverwood theme park. We have a lot going on, and it is absolutely gorgeous this time of year. And I actually don't go to any other places this time of year because we have so much beauty in our area. So, and Morris, do you stay home more in Switzerland this time of year as well because it's so pretty?
Yeah, when you said lakes and trails, that sounds like Switzerland. We have a lot of lakes, but we don't have the celebrities. So that's a difference. There's not many celebrities here who have them.
You are the celebrity, mister.
You
so get
are,
used to that.
Well, and a lot of times the celebrities, they dress down, so you don't even really know they're there. We don't pay attention. I mean, they're just people. So, that's what it is to me. They're just people, and I know a lot of them. But it's like, hey, let's have fun when you are here. And also, I wanted to announce that next week, Lori and I are taking a break. But the following Tuesday, we are going to be talking about our one of our retreats with Go Hippo. And so we are going to have kind of a celebration time here. So we're excited for that Tuesday.
Go with Hippo is our travel agent sister company that is working with us. So you're going to love Mary Beth. She's already been here with us in our show. But we also want to say hello to Olivia. She's watching. And Suzanne Jimenez. Thank you so much for being here with us. I know you're going to love Morris. And if you have questions for Morris about Switzerland or what he does, which we're going to have you share a little bit of what you do and then what you do also for Sanity in Nature. So you want to start? Yeah.
Yeah. So Morris, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Yeah. So my background is in programming, web development, and then basically I got frustrated with building websites for people or seeing clients or being on projects where people spend thousands and thousands on websites or apps and web projects, but then a few months later they get abandoned or they don't get the traffic they need, or basically what money feels like going down the drain because they just didn't focus as much on the marketing. And I was already blogging and affiliate marketing for myself. That was like a paying hobby. And so I transitioned from programming and development to doing consulting and coaching in the digital marketing space. That's what I do now. And I help people implement my system, which is called Create Grow Profit. That's also the name of my website, creategrowprofit.com. And I picked that because that's what I see working best is, you create cool stuff, so to speak, you create something cool, valuable, and then you grow an audience. And once you have an audience, that's when you can start selling things and make a profit.
Absolutely. You are what many entrepreneurs need, Morris. You are so right on that journey. Sometimes it feels lonely. You create these things, you launch it, you kick it off, and then crickets, right? And I am so glad you do that important part.
And so,
Yeah.
Morris, do you have any like tips on how they need to pick out the right people for designing their websites, or any little tricks,
What to watch
Yeah.
for when they hire somebody, or
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think, are you referring to tech people, like which tech people to hire? Is that what you mean?
It's like I'll use myself as an example. I once hired a company to design a website for me, paid them, and they never did a thing. And we had that happen in our area, I wasn't the only one, but the problem is a lot of times you have this great idea, you go hire somebody because you don't know about coding and different things. And then you find out that the company you hired, nobody followed through, even though that they had great recommendations and everything. It happened to like 10 different companies in our area one year. So,
Oh,
which was
wow.
good because people paid, anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 to this company, and they didn't even do one page.
Oh, really? That sounds like a
So
scam almost.
it was a scam. Yeah. So is there any tips that you would recommend for people to watch out for when they're hiring somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I haven't heard of many extreme examples like that where you pay like 3 to 5,000 and you get nothing. Most of the time, the stories that I heard here where people get burned, it's they start working with someone and then in the collaboration, the end product is not what they had in mind. And it's kind of breaks apart from there and you get something, but it's not what you wanted and it's not worth the money that you spent. That's usually how most people get burned. And I think a big problem is that tech people speak a different language from non-tech people. And so you always have communication error. And that's where it's really good if you have like a middleman, somebody who, or middle woman, right? Somebody who understands both languages, the language of the tech people who, who think in programmatic systems and processes, and then the client who doesn't know anything about that and, says something like, oh, I need a landing page. But then in technical terms, a landing page is like one page but the client may just refer to a website, but they call it a landing page. And that's where miscommunication happens really, really a lot. And yeah, the best advice I can give is, either find someone who understands both languages or make sure you have a good connection to the person who's building it for you. Don't just think of them as a tech geek or a technical person. Really try to gauge how well do they understand you and are they willing to communicate with you.
It's almost like buying a car. Like you go to buy a car, it's especially if it was pre-owned or something, you do your research, you know what you're expecting, you know what you want in a car, especially if it's pre-owned, you take another person with you to know how the motor's running, etc., to pay attention to those things that maybe you're not super aware of. So almost like that, sadly, but true. In order for us to know what we're getting and educating ourselves, which Tammy is amazingly good at that, educating ourselves.
My own websites, right?
At the end, she resorted to do that, and it's an amazing product that she did. KLS is here with us, Morris from the UK. I would suggest to make a contact with the owner of the website to query how the website got created. Grow different connections. Yes.
Always put everything in writing.
That too.
And never ever give full payment up front. So only give a portion. So, and like I said, there's a lot of great stuff. So, but You know what? I want to know more about you, Morris. We know you are a good promoter for wealth and you are there to help out customers, but I want to take us down a little different path here. You have a family, is that correct?
I'm married, but I don't have kids.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I do have a family, like with, my parents, my brother, and my wife and I.
So you don't have dogs and cats? No, I'm just teasing.
No, but one day a dog for sure, but just not right now.
Hey, I understand. So, and I was reading your one form. You were talking about you started about breathing exercises when and stuff when you're outside because you like to run. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. I split my day in two phases where first I do like administrative tasks or self-promotion or just creative work for my business or accounting and invoices, that kind of stuff. And then I take a break where I exercise, and every other day I go running outside, and every other day I'm in the gym. And then after that I shower, I take a snack or I eat something, and then the second half of my day is spent on calls like this because all the people I work with are in North America, or most of them are in North America. So yeah.
I like that from the very beginning. He seems very organized, extremely structured. I love how he has some days that he goes out in nature and some days at the gym. Did I hear that right? And what's the difference? I'm sure you have different intentions and purposes on going outdoors for your movement and your workout. So is there a very big difference and what do you get out of each of those workout days?
Yeah, good question. So I guess this is the time where, first of all, I want to say thank you for bringing me here. And I really like the unique angle that you guys are taking with freedom in nature. And, Lori, when you invited me, I was surprised myself that I could actually, speak here a little bit, even though I never thought of myself as a nature connected guy. And my wife earlier asked me, so what is this, what's the next call about? And I told her, yeah, I'm being interviewed on my connection with nature, and she was like, what? But it really is that running outside has helped me tremendously, and it's not the same thing as running on a treadmill or sitting on a bike inside. Like, we also have a home trainer here, a bike which I use sometimes when the weather is bad, but nothing beats running outside for my mental, and yeah, as a reset button during the day. It helps with sleep, focus, like the list goes on and on of all the benefits I experience.
And Morris, these are the things people don't actually articulate or express or talk about. And that's what I love about what we're doing, Tammy and I, because we don't call you here to help us understand more about what you do as a professional. I'm sure we can definitely tell people where to find you to see your content and learn. And yes, you talked a little bit about that. And of course, we give you the space for you to do that. But look, this is very valuable. And your wife was even like surprised. And not until we say, hey, do you have an experience in nature, a story in nature and the outdoors, or even with art? That's what we also do here, art and nature. And this person I was having a conversation yesterday with, she's like, I love nature, but I've never talked about it in a podcast. And then this is the fascinating part of it. And you mentioned a few words, keywords there that are like reset. You said so many amazing insights. Reset and what else? So what is it that you experience as you're jogging or running outdoors, like you said, versus indoors in a stationary bike or a treadmill?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, my story with nature is quite funny. I was thinking about this in preparation for today, right? And the thing is, I have really strong hay fever. And as a child, I had insane hay fever to the point where my eyes were so swollen I could barely open them. And so I I I mean I didn't stay away from the outsides, but I grew up in a city, and I would do sports and all that stuff, but I never thought of myself as someone who would go out in nature out of free will, because I would just have these allergic attacks. But and specifically running, like when I was a teenager, I said, I'm never gonna go running. That's so boring. And then I started running, and at that time I could only run with music. Like there's no way I can go running if I don't have a podcast or music or anything. And now I'm at a stage where I go running without music or anything because it's a distraction from my breath. And so, right, like how I breathe, how I move is important if I want to run a good distance, if I want to have a better pace than last week or last month. And so it's really quite interesting how I went from, really strong hay fever and hating running to really enjoying running nowadays. And my hay fever it's not gone. I still have it, especially, when I run outside, I come home, I have red eyes, all that stuff, but it doesn't bother me. And I can feel that over the years, my body has become much better at dealing with the pollen and all the stuff that's flying around out there. Also, now I live in a place that's has more nature. Like I now live by the lake, and we're like on a hill, and like if I go outside that way, it's a forest, it's all trees, right? And before that, I was just living in the city, so it's even stronger, but my body can deal better with it. And in terms of benefits, I think for me specifically, it's just connecting with myself. That's the best way I can put it, because pushing myself physically requires me to, like I said, pay attention to my breath. And I don't do anything extreme, right? It's not like I'm out there killing myself, but just a little push, just improving a little bit. And I learned so much about how I move and how I feel and how I sleep. And I think like 2 weeks ago, I posted a tweet, like I posted on Twitter, or now X. I said like, I don't, it was something along the lines of so many times I thought, oh, this is gonna be a bad day. And then after I went running, it was a good day, something like that. And I experienced that again and again. It's just I come back a different person. It's quite remarkable.
I love that you share that. And KLS is saying that she also suffers from hay fever to a point where she resents spring, which is sad. Yeah, it's so sad. And then she says apparently we develop hay fever or get cured from hay fever in our teenage years. But here, KLS, and I know you have other health complications, but in Morris' case, Morris, do you think moving from the city and being more exposed is how the body probably has adapted to it? So maybe adaptation.
I don't know, because when I was a child, my mom, she made sure we would do like trips to farms specifically, and even stay there for a weekend or a few days to deal with the hay fever, to get our bodies adapted. But maybe it helped. I don't know. There were so many other influences in my life. It's hard to pinpoint what exactly it was.
Right.
Well, I know from allergies, depending on where I'm at, I actually take an allergy medicine every day, because I do have allergies as well. In some years, it's worse than others. And I noticed that if I go into drier climates, just changing climates will sometimes trigger an allergy, and it depends on the pollens. I mean, I've been there, Mars, where the days where your eyes are so swollen and you have to take a shower that morning, to shower at night, 3 showers, 4 showers, plus take the double and triple dose medicines. And then there's times it's fine. And like this year has been fine. Not as bad. So, which is great. But I never know, because different areas triggered different pollens. So you never know. It's like, and then like my husband was more like you. He had hay fever really bad and asthma bad when he was younger. Even had to be in one of those bubble things. Couldn't be around dust, nothing. And then and I have a grandson now, which is interesting. He gets it like from horses. He was getting really bad, but it depends on what the horse is eating, what kind of hay. Isn't that interesting? Because they use certain kinds and then he's fine and his eyes don't swell up, but then other types it will. So it's interesting. I don't know enough. I'm not an allergist, so I just find it very interesting, but what's great is that you learn so much from nature. And when you take those, like you said, the headphones out or your iPods or whatever, and you start listening just to the sounds around us and noticing everything.
Yeah, that awareness that you have shared, Morris, is very great to realize that you enjoy that and you know that you pause your very amazing structured day, very organized day to enjoy that. And what you say about, did I understand it right when you're saying like you're not playing more podcasts, like you just like to listen to nature? And what I love is about you wanting to be aware of your breathing. That is something that humans, we don't know how to breathe. We're usually hyperventilating. We're short of breath when we're going upstairs, downstairs, or on a walk or jogging even. And just being in tune and learning how to control and being conscious about your breathing, it is amazingly powerful. KLS says that I had no allergies as a kid living in the Caribbean. Her and I are the same. I'm from the Caribbean and she moved to the UK, and that's when it triggered. And I'm also here in Texas, which a lot of people have major, major allergies when they change from state to state. And anyways, I'm asthmatic and all that, and I have a son that's has allergy when he's around allergies reactions when he's around horses. He helps a lot as a volunteer in horse camp. He won't sacrifice not attending to horse camp because of his allergies. He takes his medication, and he's fine because of the joy the horses give him. And I know that that is wonderful. I have a friend that doesn't like nature, and I'm sure there's nature not lovers out there. But in this group, we love nature, and I just love the fact that you make it possible. You make it work in your schedule, you prioritize it, and you have enjoyed the benefits. So thanks for sharing.
So I'm going to throw this little tip out, though. For some people, honey works. If you get honey from the bees that are grown locally in your area, honey a lot of times will lessen those. And maybe that's why my allergies are less this year, is because I have been having a lot of honey. So you never know, right? So where's your favorite places to go running or hiking over there in Switzerland?
Well, for running, I like to stay close. The thing I love about running is that it takes no prep. Like you just put on your shoes and run, right? That you don't need to drive to a gym or need any special equipment. So I just like to run here. And I live, like I said, I live by the lake, and I also live on a hill. And so some days I run the hill, which is quite exhausting, but then it's, get rewarded by jogging back down. So one half is quite tough, and the other half is easier, or by the lake. Yeah, both are beautiful sceneries.
Sounds like you have many, many options. What would you recommend for people that hesitate to do it, to take the risk for whatever reason? There's legit reasons, health reasons, etc., but also the ones that are making excuses for themselves. What would you recommend?
So, I mean, I was exactly like that. I mean, there was a time when I said I will never run, even though I was in sports, I played tons of sports, but like just going running, I thought to myself, that is the most boring thing ever. And what really helped me was when I started running for myself, really, because back then I was too much in this, sports environment where as soon as you start running, you start to measure. You're like, oh, I need to run this pace, or I need to run that distance, or that speed, or I'm not fast enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not fit enough, all of that. And what I discovered is if I run the way I want to run, then I have more fun. Whatever that means, even if that means I jog a little bit and then I walk, or right, I mentioned earlier running the hills. It's like if there's a section that I don't like to run, I want to walk it, then I walk it. There's nobody stopping me. I make my own rules. And that's how I got into breathing too, is because I discovered that if I improve my breathing, I have more fun. It's like my goal. I go running to improve my breathing. I'm always curious about how long and how fast can I run by nose breathing before it breaks down. And that is my own goal that motivates me, which I would have never guessed that something like that would motivate me. And I really think that is what worked for me. Just figure out for yourself, how do you want to run? Where do you want to run? And don't worry about speed, pace, distance, or, whatever is out there.
You have someone saying that you're an inspiring guest.
Thank you so much.
KLS, and I agree. I think there's some things that, and I'm working with a client right now, like SMART goals, specific, measurable, and all that. And there's some things that are worth measuring, like you said. But then there's also the leisure to it. There's also the going to do it just because you want to be in there, because you want to connect with nature, the sounds, and your own breathing. And I think that is so worth it too. The intention of it matters. If you're a marathonist, if I said that word correctly, or if you want to compete, of course, measure your progress. But if you just want to get out there just to enjoy life and give yourself some time to admire nature and all that, that's the way to go. I agree, Morris. That's awesome.
Well, it's like you can, like you mentioned, it's like you can walk, you can run, you can jog, you can take a bike. I mean, there's such a variety of things we can do out in nature, or you can just go sit outside and listen. When I'm outside, besides using it for pain management, it gives me mental clarity. What do you say on that, Morris? Does it give you more clarity after you've gone on a run?
Yeah, I think so. No, I definitely think so. Yeah. But it's not in the sense that I'm on the run and then I get like magic thoughts or crazy inspiration while I'm running. It's just that it improves my life on every level. Even just sleep, like during winter time when I can't run or barely run, it's different from times like now. And so even just sleeping more deeply, sleeping better, falling asleep better, waking up better as a direct result of, running, the impact that it has on everything in my life is just, yeah, priceless.
I don't think you believe so. I think you know so. Like, yeah, you're like, I think so. Yeah, I'm like, no, it sounds like you're very certain because you're reaping the benefits of it from breathing and then sleeping. And then for Tammy, mental clarity. So I want to ask our people that are watching the replay or live right now, what are the benefits that you have taken away from being out in nature, from running, from moving, from doing something from the comfort zone, out of the comfort zone? I go walking every morning with a walking buddy. Again, sometimes we're like on a sidewalk and I hear the cars and she's like, where do you want to go today? And I'm like, I want to go away from the noise from the cars. And we just walk and we have some goals about our weight release and things like that. And she's a little bit frustrated. She hasn't been able to lose whatever. I'm like, you know what? I've enjoyed this. Movement is movement. I'm not going to hyper focus on that right now because I'm sure that something is happening. And then we're enjoying the company. We're enjoying nature. So KLS Fuerte says, okay, I'll go running tomorrow. Oh my goodness. And she capitalized tomorrow and we'll send you a picture, guys. Yes, that's what we want. Just to make myself accountable to myself, been saying it for a while. Now I'll do it. And Morris, you're in our group, right?
Yes, I can't wait to see the picture.
Yes. And then maybe you can tag him and tag us. And I am so excited to see that, KLS Fuerte. Yeah. And when I used to join the park before going to work, I felt so energetic throughout the day. And I know you need to listen to your body, KLS, because of your health circumstance. And Morris, if you want to find out what's her health circumstance, you can watch an episode where we interviewed her. And I she makes it public. But the thing is, we need to listen to our body, and we're not going to do something that's going to trigger or aggravate an episode of something. But at the same time, if you have realized that movement is so good for the body and health in all aspects, and do what you can, the fresh air, the sunlight, and all that, like you have learned, KLS mentioned grounding and earthing. Our dear Olivia Smith is also amazing, and she's an advocate for grounding and earthing. Do you know what that is, Morris?
Yeah, I think it's when you're barefoot, walk barefoot, or you touch trees, right?
Yeah.
You ground yourself.
Exactly. So yeah, she Kayla said that she can't share it. It's MS, or multiple sclerosis. I know there's so many benefits that you can get, KLS, from that.
And I'm one of those, I used to run a lot and bike like 18 miles a day and stuff when I was younger. But I developed a weird symptom when I run, my legs break out. And so I started walking. It was like my body wasn't sweat glands weren't working correctly, so it'd break out into a rash, kind of like when you go from hot to cold and it starts itching really bad. So I stopped running, but I realized, and there's lots of research, that just walking is just as good as running, so it's like, do what's best for you and your body and what you enjoy. It doesn't have to be exactly like somebody else, or it can be just like Morris said. It's like, I'm like you on some things. It's like, I know I'd rather walk here, and and other times it's like, no, let's go ahead and run this part. It's and move at your own pace. Don't do it for somebody else. Do it for you.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it helps you stay consistent, right? I think, I mean, it's so important to know why we're doing what we're doing. And sometimes what happens, I see the same thing in marketing, where somebody buys a course on how to do social media or YouTube and stuff like that. And it's the exact same thing in fitness, where you buy someone else's workout plan without asking first, what was their goal? Do you even have the same goal? And by adopting other people's goals, you will most likely not stay consistent. And if you don't stay consistent, then right, like you fail, you start to blame yourself. You're like, oh, I'm not disciplined, or I need to get my life together, or and all these negative thoughts happen, this spiral, and it becomes a big deal when it shouldn't. It should just be, what works for you and what works for your goals and purposes.
And understanding your why, like you said it. Yeah.
Yes, such a great point. Yeah, because you have to, and that's where great coaches and mentors come in to help guide you. But like you said, if it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you. And sometimes it may be part of it, on programs, or for running might be work for some days, but for others it doesn't. So such a great point, because like you said, it combines the marketing as well as not, because people need to look at that. It's kind of like when we're marketing, we're like, okay, what do we want our customers to think about? That's why we have courses and retreats, and we're adding more stuff as everybody speaks, because we want to connect with everybody that we can, and help in different ways, because we know everybody's at different levels. And that's the same way with its health, nature, or when they're looking for you for their business, right? Your growth business is, you want to be able to help them in ways that they never even thought they could be helped.
Yeah. I want to say hello to Aika. She's joining. She's apologizing. We just are happy to have you whenever you join, Aika. Let's see. You know what? If out of this episode we get KLS to go jogging tomorrow or whatever it is, didn't we make a difference, Morris? Didn't you make a difference today?
Yeah, like I'm so hyped. Like I can't wait. Please tag me.
You need to tell your wife. See, I talked about nature and look what happened. It's a ripple effect. She says, KLS says, oh, I know I lack discipline sometimes. That's why I've made it public by telling you. That will motivate me. Yay. There you go. Yeah, that's what's about. And if we're here and we can be your accountability partners, we're here for you, KLS. Whatever it is that you need to do, we usually ended our episodes with a challenge or an invitation, but how important it is for that challenge and invitation to come out of yourself, right? Your inner self, because that inner wisdom, when we tap into it, is what knows best than even us inviting you to do something. But when you know, like I would have never imagined to invite you to jog, but if you know you're capable of doing that, KLS, and you miss it and you want to get yourself out there, go for it. So yes.
And we want to invite anybody else that wants to do that. And I love it. I loved it when Lori Harding shared her post the other day. You know, it was just such a positive post. Or
and Hannah
shared a post. I love that. So, Morris, do you have any more tips or any stories you would like to share with us?
Stories about nature. Yeah, I just think, I guess I'm the kind of person who didn't spend much time in nature, and I started spending more time in nature. Like one of the story is swimming in the lake here, like which sounds, I know people are gonna think I'm crazy, but I've been living by this lake for 5 years. So no, 6 years. And last year was the first time I went swimming in the
Better
lake.
late than never. It's better late than never. Hey, now you know what you've been missing, and tell us how did that impact you?
It was because my brother-in-law came for a visit, and I thought about all the things we could do, and so I checked it out, and I was like, oh, wait a second, I can, like, it's on the beach, it's like I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like nice prepared. There's places where you can change and showers and stuff like that. So I went there, and it was super nice, and I realized, wow, there's so many more things that I could do outside. But I think that's just how we are. We get stuck in our routine, and then we repeat that, and then it takes some kind of external influence to wake us up a bit or show us something else. Like in that case, it was my brother-in-law who came for a visit, and else I wouldn't have even considered going for a swim. And so when summer hits, and we don't have that long of a summer here, but in those couple months when it's nice weather, then after my run, or after the gym, I go for a swim, and I try to make time for that.
And so, and that's kind of like in our area, because you moved to an area and before you were visiting and checking stuff out, right? But we noticed that when people come here, was like, oh, let's go and show them the shops in downtown Sandpoint, or Coeur d'Alene, or let's go and check this lake out or this place. And just, so my goal every year is, because I was doing exactly like you, Mars, we were just like staying at home, or we'd go to a few favorite places, but not checking everything else. And we have like 133 lakes in our area, I think it is.
Wow.
Which is a lot, within an hour's drive or a couple hours drive. And so we have a lot to see. So my goal is to check out new places, at least once or twice a week, check out something that I haven't been to, because otherwise, like you said, you find you're stuck, or you're just experiencing that one experience. And not saying that I would have been putting my feet in the water just whenever I see water, I'm like, I'm there. But at the same time, we have places that are nearby, and it's like, okay, I should need to go and check that out. People will tell me about them. And a lot of times it takes having somebody show up at your doorstep and saying, hey, what are we going to do? And you're like, oh, okay, let's come up with something different, right?
Yeah, being a tourist in your own area, it's nice.
It is.
Discover those spots. Aika is saying that she wants to move to your property. So
I told her to come visit.
I know, come to our retreat. Well, Morris, it's been a delight. I know the request is kind of random, but you had plenty to share, and we are very happy you did say yes to enlighten people. And then to help us understand how much going into the outdoors improves your life in every level. I took notes, so I'm reading those notes, and how and how important it is to know why we're doing what we're doing. Go ahead, Tom.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, and I was just gonna say, and make sure you guys visit Marissa's website and stuff on there, and we'll make sure it's posted there as well. Because as you can tell, we like you to get to know the person who you would be dealing with. I mean, what better way? Because you got to see what he's actually like, and so he's not like spewing a whole speech for you. He's being real, and that's what we love. So, and I know Morris can help you, and it seems like you have videos and stuff up and about sections, and which is awesome.
He does fun stuff, fun content. It's so cute. Very, very funny things, or very informative things, and if you become his friend, send him a friend request, you're gonna have fun. Enjoy that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, like if I that's why I create videos, because I know how it is online. Sometimes I would like to find out more about the person, but we're not sure yet. Like, do we want to be friends? And start chatting and receive messages. So you can just check out my videos on YouTube. It's also called Create Grow Profit. And if you have any questions about the things that I post, or you disagree with some of the things that I post, just send me a message. I'm always open for those types of conversations. And what you guys do here with Unlocking Freedom in Nature, I know we focus on the nature part, not so much on the art part. I checked out, Tammy, some of your work last night, which is just blows my mind. Like the stuff that you
I agree.
create, like that's crazy. But yeah, I'm really passionate about living a good life, which is so generic and means something different for every single person. But I really believe in that. And so it's the same thing that I do with my business, and having the opportunity to share on nature and running, and like little daily routines, or how we underestimate the impact of a better breath. Like it was so much fun. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about something I can almost never talk about.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you, and we plan on seeing you even posting photos of your lake, right?
Oh yeah.
And we just challenge everyone this week to get outside and enjoy nature. Go on a walk, go jogging, go running, or even if you need to, just go sit on a park bench, right? And summertime in my area is great. And I know like in Australia and those places, it's winter time. So, and I'm not sure, what you have there, but like this time of year, if you're sitting outside, we see hummingbirds a lot, or the squirrels and chipmunks, or like yesterday in the photo I shared, I was going down to my garden and there's this doe that hangs out all the time. She's always around. So
that's so fun and beautiful. And KLS said that she's quoting you, Morris. She's saying, living a good life. It's a great motto. So you might be up to something new and different now with a new a motto, living a good life. And that's what we want you to do here with us, and with our amazing guests like Morris. So we don't want to take a lot of your time, because like he said at the beginning, he's very structured and he goes from one thing to the next. But we're grateful you were able to take some time to be with us today. So thank you so much.
And welcome to our group. We're thankful to have you. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll be sure to post some pictures too when I see. That's the thing. Like now I run without my phone, so I can't take pictures anymore, but I will do a couple of runs.
Go on a stroll with your lovely bride, your wife, and then go on a very leisure stroll and say, hey, I need to take pictures for this new group I belong to. Yeah. So thank you, and we'll see you next time. And for the audience, comment what you like, what you're inspired to do now because of this information shared with you today, and see you next time.
All right. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Good week. Thank you so much.